Hello and welcome to another episode of Cascadia Mountain Weather. It's Thursday, February 29th, 2024. My name is Kyle McCrone and I'm here with Wyatt Mullen. And we got a lot of snow in the last week, also a lot of rain. And Wyatt put together some real great statistics to show us kind of what unfolded over the last week.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at some graphics with data that comes from the Northwest Avalanche Center. They have stations throughout the Cascades. And this is showing the accumulated snowfall over the past 7 days. And honestly, most of the snow has occurred within the last like 4 to 5 days, even within like the last 3 days for some areas. But really wanted to highlight this is sorted by how much snow you got over the last week. And so Baker really raking it in big. Over 7 or almost 7 feet of snowfall in the last 7 days. Paradise over 5 feet, and then dropping down here. And we'll get into a little bit more why some of these other areas might have picked up a little bit less snowfall. So this is now looking at the snow depth change over the past week. So we're starting here at last Friday on the 23rd, all the way up to the end of today, Thursday, the 29th. And up here on the top, we have Paradise. It was the only station that was above 100 inches snow depth before this past week. And now we have a couple of stations, including Baker, which is this green line, and Alpental, that actually the mid-station Alpental, as well as the upper station Alpental, which have both surpassed 100 inches. And really what I want to draw your attention to is kind of look about how Baker was down with Snoqualmie Pass, with Stevens Pass, and that was about a week ago. And now Baker really has shot up with all of that extra snowfall. We've seen a 65-inch increase, more than doubling its base, which just doesn't happen that much this late in the season. Meanwhile, you can kind of notice Snoqualmie Pass, which has only increased by about a foot in the last week. And one thing that kind of is interesting is we saw a decent amount of rain recently, especially kind of right about that 4,000 foot level and below, especially to the south of Baker. And so what's interesting is you can notice that Stevens Pass, which is a little bit colder than Snoqualmie this time of year, and also a little bit higher elevation, kind of held steady versus during this rain period when Baker is just getting enormous quantities of snow, while Snoqualmie, at least at the pass level, dropped. We can even look a little bit more specifically at Snoqualmie Pass. And so we can see that this is the Alpental mid-level, about 4,000 feet. Then we have Snoqualmie Pass about 3,000 feet down here. And you can see that while Alpental continued to mostly stay snow, saw a few brief periods of rain, but it saw significantly more snow and increased by 43 inches over the last week. Once again, Snoqualmie kind of had this long, slow drop, losing about 10 inches of base during this rainy period when those snow levels were kind of in that 3,500 to 4,500 foot range. This I just wanted to highlight. This shows pretty well over the last 24 hours how a lot of the heavy snow has been focused up near Baker. Once again, kind of in that 2 to 3 to 4 feet range. And we can even go further out and you can see just all of these dark purples, these magentas up here, getting above 4 feet in the last 72 hours. While we still saw some quite a bit of snow in different areas, especially down near Mount Rainier, down Paradise, but not quite as much as the North Cascades. And the Olympics also got a ton. We can see that here in kind of the looking at the snow water equivalent or our snowpack about a week ago versus today. So this is a week ago, and we were pretty bad in the Olympics, almost historically bad in the Olympics in the North Cascades, 33% and 48%. And then if we look at today, we've increased by about 12 to 13 percentage points in the North Cascades, about 10% in the Olympics, which is obviously it hasn't solved our problem. We're still significantly below normal, but we're doing a lot better than we were. And you can see it not quite as large of increases down in kind of this south central area. So getting to the weather upcoming. You can see that this is kind of the satellite image looking out off the coast right now. We have this big low pressure system up way to the north, up off of BC and even almost Alaska, and it's sending in this really, really cold onshore flow. And that is why we're seeing snow levels. They're significantly lower than they were. They were about 4,000 feet, and now they're at 500 feet. I mean, there's about an inch of snow this morning down where I live at sea level. And so you can see that this is going to be kind of the general pattern we're looking at this weekend, where we have these showers that are coming onshore, and it's a little bit hard to say which area is going to get hit the hardest. but it'll be little periods of showers and sun breaks as we move forward. You can see this going through on Friday and through the weekend. Probably the most shower activity is going to be in the Friday timeframe, and then we'll see a gradual drying out through Saturday. This is Saturday morning, kind of showing some showers rotating through, and Sunday as well. This will all be snow in the mountains. It honestly might even be some kind of trace amounts of snow in the lowlands, so that's kind of exciting. And then the next system starts moving in late kind of Sunday into Monday. And it's a little bit, the models haven't decided exactly where that's going to come in yet. The GFS has it further south, or the American model. The European model has it coming in more towards us. But it is a chance that we could see actually some more snow near sea level. And you can see that here as we move forward. This is the accumulated snowfall. And as we get later in the week, and through the weekend, we're still going to be seeing quite a significant chunk of snowfall, maybe like 15, 20 inches, kind of 1 to 2 feet area in the North Cascades. In the Central Cascades, maybe 6 to 12 inches through the weekend. So, I mean, the snow it's not going as hard as it was, but it's still going to be pretty exciting. This just highlights the snow levels, and we're at that time of year, early spring, where we start to see a really big diurnal fluctuation with the snow levels. So right now, kind of in the, with such low snow levels, they're going to be near sea level in kind of at night during the overnight hours when it's coldest. And then when we get a little bit of sun, a little bit of warming, they're going to pop up to maybe 3,000 foot. But if you get a shower, you'll likely be snow in the mountains. So this is kind of more for kind of the lowlands, but highlighting this big fluctuation that continues all the way out through the end of next week. This is for the next 7 days. And then looking at temperatures, temperatures are going to be significantly colder than average up in the mountains, probably maybe 5 degrees below normal, maybe even 10 at times. So lows in kind of the teens, maybe low 20s, and highs in the mid 20s to low 30s. So really, really great conditions for holding powder.
Thanks, Wyatt. So with all the new snowfall, something that's important to keep in mind is the, deep snow hazard. So here's the Baker Ski Area putting out an advisory for deep snow and tree well immersion. It's important to watch out for areas around trees and keep a buddy in sight, because all this new snow can be really fun to play with, but also does pose hazards. Avalanche hazard is also another thing to look at. So next, we're going to look at the Northwest Avalanche Center. And currently everything's at considerable, probably we'll see things considerable moderate range this weekend, but there's definitely different problems depending on the area. So that's what we're going to take a little deeper look at. This is the Baker area, so West Slopes North. And the main thing they're highlighting is, they just got 3 to 5 feet of snow. So storm slab, looking at giving the snowpack, time to moderate. But that's the only hazard that they list there. This is the West Slope South. So that's like Paradise, Crystal, etc. And it's a bit different there. So here, they're still obviously concerned about the storm slab, but there's a persistent slab on the forecast. So these are the lingering weak layers that we've talked about in previous videos. And we mentioned that they might, play a role if we get a lot of fresh snow on top of that. And in the Stevens Pass area, East Central, East Slopes generally, and then also West South, forecasters are concerned about this persistent slab problem. So that's something definitely to pay attention to, because these types of avalanches are very unpredictable and can break very widely throughout a slope. The 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, it definitely looks above average in our part of the world, and also cold. So what we're really seeing is a continued pattern of troughing off of the Gulf of Alaska and cold air coming down from the Arctic, and that cold, moist air is really bringing a favorable pattern for snowfall. And that's what we're looking at really for the next week at least. Beyond that, who knows, temperatures might moderate a little bit, but this is definitely a good snowfall producing pattern. So this is a picture from Artist Point, where you can expect similar conditions this weekend with a lot of new snow. So finally, we'd like to highlight our Patreon. So we have a lot of great Patreon supporters who support us and what we do. And in return, we give them weekly recreation recommendations every Thursday evening with the video. So here we go into more depth about, everything you need to know, looking at different zones, talking about where there might be a weather window, what type of terrain to look at, say if you're looking to go skiing, or maybe is it a good time, to look at a different type of sport. We also include links for the videos. So if this sort of offering interests you, we encourage you to check out our Patreon site. You can go to cascadiamountainweather.com, which will take you there, or you can look at the link in our show notes. So thank you so much to everyone for listening. This was a really exciting week and fun week to track with all the snowfall. We think that it's going to be a great weekend out there, and we hope you have a good time. Thank you.